Hey guys, Mr. Milton here. Today we're going to talk about evaluating functions. At the end of this video, you should be able to evaluate functions and write in function notation. I'll say that. Okay, so recall from Unit 1, when I say evaluate, that means we're going to substitute and simplify. So for number 1, I said evaluate 4x plus 2 when x is 10. So we're going to substitute and simplify. So 4, and now instead of x, I'm putting 10 plus 2, so 40 plus 2, which is 42. And that's what I did, evaluated. Okay, same thing here. Evaluate when y is 16. So now instead of y minus 4, I'm going to say 16 minus 4 over 3. 16 minus 4 is 12 over 3, which is 4. Okay, do this. Bring that in so I know that you're paying attention and all that jazz. Okay. Alright, so we talked about evaluating. Now we're going to look at evaluating function rules. A function rule is an expression that represents or describes a function. Okay. To write an equation in function notation, you only need to change the y equals 2 and f of x equals. The f is not a variable. Please don't think that that's something to solve for. It represents the name of the function. Okay, so you'll see f of x, you'll see g of x, you'll see k of x, you'll just see a bunch of x. It's just a name. Okay, and so if we wanted to write this first one in function notation, instead of saying y equals 3x minus 2, we just say f of x equals 3x minus 2. Okay, if we wanted to write the next one, we could say g of x equals negative 4x plus 6. Okay, and the reason for this is if I said look at function g, you would know that I'm talking about this. I wouldn't say look at the function negative 4x plus 6. Okay, if I said look at function g, you know I'm talking about this. If I said look at function f, you'd say, oh, this one. Okay, so it's just another naming convention so that you can identify things a little bit quicker if necessary. Alright, evaluating the function. When evaluating the function, you'll see that f of x be replaced with something like f of 2. This simply means that you need to replace the x with the number 2 in the function rule. Okay, so here we see that here it says f of x equals negative 5x plus 25. Then it says find f of negative 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to replace x with negative 2. So I have negative 5, and instead of writing x, I'm going to say negative 2 plus 25. Okay, so this left side stays the same. I'm still naming this. This is the function when x is negative 2. So negative 5 times negative 2 is 10. It's 25. F of negative 2, paper's getting crazy, equals 10 plus 25, which is 35. Boom. I found f of negative 2. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Okay, f of 10 equals 10 squared minus 4. That's 100 minus 4. That's 96. Alright? And so that's all that is, okay? This should not be anything super confusing. It's just saying this function when x is this value. Okay? Alright, I'll do one more with you and then I'll leave number 4 for you guys to do. So with number 3 it says find f of 8 plus g of 3. Okay, so you'll see these problems. And so all we're doing here is they gave us two functions. They said f is negative x plus 2 and g is 3x plus 4. And so it says find f of 8. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, f of 8 is negative 8 plus 2. Okay? This is f of 8. And then I'm going to do the same thing with g of 3. G of 3 is 3 plus 4. Okay, and that's just me plugging in these values. I'm going to simplify these things. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. So f of 8 is negative 6. G of 3 is going to be 9 plus 4, 13. So G of 3 is 13. Okay, and then they just said f of 8 plus G of 3. So f of 8 is negative 6. G of 3 is 13. Negative 6 plus 13 is 7. So again, seems like it could be complicated. It is not, guys. It is just us evaluating and putting stuff and simplifying and putting stuff together. Okay, no high-level math here. We're plugging in, we're evaluating. We could have done this in the first chapter on the first or second day of school. All right, come to the back. Okay. Here the directions say evaluate the function rule to find the range of the function for the domain -4, 0, and 3. Okay, these directions might seem complicated, but all I'm saying is I've given you 3 x values, and I'm asking you to give me the 3 y values that go with them. Okay, so here I've given you 3 x values. I've said -4, 0, and 3. Okay, so then just simplify those. So absolute value of 2 times -4 minus 15. So that's 2 times -4, which is -8. The absolute value of -8 is 8. 8 minus 15 is -7. Okay, so we got that for f of -4. Do the same thing with 0. 2 times 0, 0 minus 15 is going to give us -15. Do the same thing here with 3. Absolute value of 2 times 3 minus 15. So 6 minus 15 or -9. And so then all we have to do is take these values, right here, take these values, and then we're just going to give the range that goes with that we came up with. So that's -15, -9, 7. Okay, wasn't very much to that. Okay, so all it says is here are 3 x values, plug them in, and give me the range that goes with that. Okay, here are 3 x values, plug them in, tell me what the y values are. Okay, we do the same thing down here, except they gave us 3 different x values. So again, we'll do that same thing. F of -6, -6 minus 1 over 2. That is -7 over 2. Okay, f of 3, 3 minus 1 over 2, or 2 over 2, which is 1. F of 9, which is 9 minus 1 over 2, which is 8 over 2, which is 4. And so our range that would go here be -7/2, 1, 4. Took our x values, plugged it in, and then told them the y values that corresponded with it. Okay, and that's all that is. Okay, bottom here, it says complete the table using a function rule. So all we're doing now, guys, is we have the function rule. It's listed up here. And they gave us the x values, or the inputs, and they want us to find out what the y values are. So it's a different way of listing the function notation. Okay, I'm going to do the, which one do I want to do? I'll do the last one. I'll do C. Okay, I'm going to do C. I'll have you guys do the others for me and bring it in, please. So there we go. They gave us this function, f of x is -x squared plus 5, and then we're going to plug these values in. So we have -3 squared plus 5. -3 squared is 9. Okay, but then there's a negative here, so we have -9 plus 5, which will give us -4. Okay, so that's f of -3. We can do that same thing with each of these terms. So f of -2, same thing. -2 squared plus 5, which is 4, will be -4, because this negative is outside here already. Plus 5, which is 1, positive 1. Okay, so f of negative 2 is positive 1. Plug in 0, that should be an easy one. Negative 0 squared plus 5, which is 0, plus 5, which is 5. Do the same thing with 2. F of 2 equals negative 2 squared plus 5, which is negative 4 plus 5, which is 1. Okay, and then the same thing with 3, which is negative 3 squared plus 5, which is negative 9 plus 5, which is negative 4. Okay, and so that's just us plugging in that value and consistently simplifying and evaluating and putting our y value where it goes. All right, so there's the function notation, evaluating those and simplifying those. See ya.